Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today on this video, actually just I don't want to say I have a lot to say. I have a couple of things that I just want to share that have been on my mind. And one, I know I've talked about gratitude before in another video. So let's talk about gratitude again as I prepare to go for work. So I've been thinking lately about how everyone talks about gratitude. Let's be grateful for this, let's be grateful for that. And sometimes you forget that as much as you are actually being grateful for something, but there might be areas in your life that are not going well, are not going as you plan or as you expect them to be. And I'm learning that it's okay to be grateful for something, for one thing, and still be disappointed in another thing. So you can be grateful for life and still be unhappy about how your life is. I don't know if you're getting. You're grateful that you're alive, but in the same breath, you're not happy about where your life is at, or like your life is not where you would want it to be, or probably you're grateful about, yeah, it's sort of a counterintuitive thing, like you're grateful for this thing which is an exact opposite of what is not working. You get? So I'm learning that it's actually just, it's okay to be grateful for one thing and not, yeah, and not be grateful and actually complain to God about other things. Like I've been, the way I operate, or the way I usually do my things is I'm very 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 I'm such a gratitude person. So I'm grateful for things, grateful for what God has done, grateful for all those things. I'm usually very grateful. And even in my prayer life, I got to a point where I never used to pray for things that I wanted, because I used to think that I'm actually not being grateful because I'm always asking. So I began thanking God for what I already had, which is good, but I never asked God to give me what I didn't have, or what I wished, my heart's desires. As much as we are being granted things like life for free, we're very grateful for life, grateful for good health. Yeah, always be grateful for that. In the same breath, you are grateful for that, but you might be needing something else from God. It's not wrong of you to ask of God to give you what you desire in that moment, for it to make your life easier or better. I don't know if you guys have been through the same. So for instance, yeah, I think I've already given you an example of how I've been struggling with giving thanks and still asking for more, and there's always room to ask for more with God. And yeah, that is what I've realized. In other in another thought also is, um in terms of friendships also. I've talked about this also in another episode. Is it an episode even? In another video on my channel. So about friendships and even just people. So today I'm I'm I'm, I'm such a Jerry Flowers follower. So I've been listening to some of his Therapy Thursdays, and today they were talking about loving people from a distance, where you could actually just be, you could be grateful for having someone. It also goes back to the gratitude fact. You could be grateful for having someone in your life, but still not have them in your journey as much as you're grateful for them. I don't know if it's making sense, but what this means is, when you they talk about unconditional love, where you love someone so unconditionally and you feel like you could literally do anything for them. That's unconditional love. But also, unconditional love does not mean unconditional access. So what this is, that what I'm saying, it's counterintuitive, is I could love you but not grant you full access to me or to things that pertain me. Sometimes you could love someone and that person does not align with your purpose. That friendship does not align with your purpose. So what they were saying is, it's okay for people, you should not expect people to love your purpose, but do not let people pull you down or prevent you from getting to your purpose. Basically, is those people who are always, let me I wrote the notes, let me so it basically says, because just because someone loves you, it does not mean they have to love your calling. So someone could love you and not love your calling. And there are people who will constantly antagonize your purpose, like they'll constantly antagonize your purpose. And it's okay to love them from a distance and just to tell yourself, like, I love you, but you and my purpose, you do not align with my purpose, so I can love you from a distance and not grant them access to you in terms of your purpose. I don't know if you get. So they also say it's possible, I've told you, it's possible for someone to love you and not to love your calling. Someone can love you and not to love what you're called for. So it's possible. And also, someone can just love you and not love what you're called for. Make peace with that and love them from a distance. The another thing they said is, always be able to recognize that. You should always be able to recognize that you love someone, but you need to reassign them. Reassigning them is, sometimes we give so much credit or so much access to people who, it's like you're giving someone the wrong assignment. Like someone has a different assignment, you are trying to force them into something that they are not. So in the long run, you end up getting hurt because your expectations do not meet what you want this person to be or who you want this person to be. So you have to reassign them. So reassigning them is basically, I love you, but I love you, and you don't need to have the same access to me. And another thing is, you could, for instance, if, let me give an example of, you're dating someone and you break up. After breaking up, this person will not have the same access to you, or this person will not hold the same position they used to hold in your life after you've broken up with this person. Even a friendship, they'll not hold the same position. The fact that they do not hold the same position means you should not grant them the same access. If someone is your ex for, let's say, at a year or two, that person is your ex. So it means your ex-boyfriend had a certain access to you that he can, or ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend had a certain access to you that, because he used to hold a certain position, which is your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You get? Now that they are no longer part of your life, it does not make sense for them to keep on having the same access, like calling you every day, talking to you regularly like they used to talk to you, or just doing things like you guys used to do. But in real sense, it's like we're not dating, but I could call you anytime. I could call you at 12 at night. I could call you. So it's like it's basically setting boundaries. What this means is you are setting boundaries with people in your life and with relationships in your life. Another thing, yeah. So that's it. So I want to tell you, people you need to love from a distance. I want to tell you 5 people you need to love from a distance. Take notes. Anyway, so first of all, tell yourself, if there's someone that you feel like you need to love it from a distance, always tell yourself when you're around them, when you're around them, try to remind yourself that I need to love you from a distance. You start from with that. After that, you start to get used to the fact that this person should not be in your life as much as you think they should be. I've said unconditional love does not mean unconditional access. Underline that. So, number one, people you need to love from a distance. Number one is that person who lacks self-awareness. I don't know if you guys, it happens to me a lot. I get an ick of people who are not self-aware. I don't mean that I'm highly self-aware, but I think I'm in my self-awareness journey, and I dread having conversations with people who are not aware, because one thing, they always overlook your feelings, how you're feeling, or they will overlook everything in terms of your discussion or whatever you're discussing. So people who lack self-awareness, you find yourself carrying them and not walking with them. Like, it's always they feel like a burden. You'll make excuses for them for things that they're not doing right. They're not doing something right, but instead of coming to the reality of the fact that they're not doing what you want them to do, you try to make excuses for them, and you dread being around them. It's like those people, when you're around them, they drain your energy. After you leave that conversation, you leave that venue, or you just have a meeting with them, you always feel so drained and feel like, you just dread being around them. You don't like being around them. You're anxious when you're around them. Anybody that makes you anxious, as much as you love them from a distance. It's okay to say that I honor God for ordaining you. I honor God for ordaining you to sow into my life for this season. For this season, for that season. But it does not mean I have to carry you along all the other seasons. We honor God for giving you to me, or for giving you to that person. But it's okay. Because the reason as to why they were there, they were ordained to be in your life, probably has already happened. But we can love them from a distance. We can love you from a distance. The reason as to why God ordained you for my life probably has happened. So I don't need to carry you along all my seasons. I hope you guys are getting. Number two, a person who does not apologize. There's one way to measure the emotional intelligence of anyone. It's called EQ. To measure the emotional intelligence of everyone, by how people apologize. If you want to know if someone is emotionally intelligent, look at how they apologize when they are wrong. Is it do they always make you feel guilty for doing something, for something they did, or are they defensive, or just look at the way people apologize when they've done you wrong. And are they fully aware of their mistakes or something like that? Always also remember, people are always aware of what they are doing. When someone is doing something wrong, they're aware of the impact and the consequences of all those things. So do not make excuses for people who hurt you intentionally, because just because you're trying to convince yourself that they are not doing that, don't convince yourself. Take it for what it is. Another reason, that person in your life who feels entitled to your time and your energy. There's always people who want to, like, they want you to be available when they are available, and when you want them to be available, they are never available. That is someone you should love from a distance. Their availability should not determine your availability, or your availability does not determine their availability. They don't create time for you, but when they are free is when they want to see you. When you're free, you want to meet with them, they are not available. You get. Another point that I should remind you, unconditional love does not mean unconditional access. Also, people who on the same note, people who feel entitled to your time do not respect your boundaries, no matter how hard you try to enforce them. You could tell someone, I don't like being late. I have 1, 2, 3 to do. I have a list of 1, 2, 3 things I should do today. But now they feel like you're supposed to be there. You're supposed to be there for them. You're supposed to do 1, 2, 3 for them. They are actually blinded by the fact that you also have your life. You also have your priorities, your own boundaries, and I actually think it's selfish. In this time, they're just thinking about what they could gain from you. They are entitled to your energy and your time. Another point, number 4, people who do not respect or display reciprocity. You get people who don't respect you, and they don't reciprocate. You could be going up the mountains, up the hills for someone who could literally never jump a hill for you. That one is someone you should love from a distance. Another one is that person who doesn't value your purpose. As I had said before, someone who doesn't value your purpose is not aligned. So they'll not see the value of it. They'll not see why you actually have to do some things. So people like that, you do not need to let them have access to you. Let them love you from a distance. Also love them from a distance. And people who do not, just as I said, people do not love you. People can love you and not love your purpose. So basically, it's allowed. And people who antagonize your purpose are basically not meant to. I'm not saying you should cut people off. It's important to recognize that you don't have to cut everyone off, but you can love people from a distance. It's not every year you try to cut people off, but try to see a way that you can love them from a distance without necessarily cutting people off. I hope you're getting me. And sometimes this is what I've learned about also purpose and calling. Someone cannot love your purpose. It's okay for someone not to like what you do, your family not to like what you do. You could be doing something, but it's only you who knows you've been called to do that. So sometimes it's okay for someone not to love your purpose, but they should appreciate your purpose. Get that? Anyway, I think I've already said more than enough. I'll talk about the how to distance yourself in another video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Let me prepare and go to work. I'll see you guys on the next video. Please comment down below how you love people from a distance, and what do you think about this. What do you think about loving people from a distance, and generally about people not liking your purpose. Anyway, thank you so much. Bye.